Another thing that makes Adobe Bridge so powerful is the ability to categorize and tag and sort images as if they were in a database. So if you happen to have 500 pictures at home and they're not categorized or tagged, you have to look through all 500 to make sure you have what you want. However, if you're actually bringing these photos in and you want to apply some sort of categories or tags to them, it's as if they are in a library or a database where you can say, show me all pictures with dogs, and anything that has a dog tag will be pulled up. So we're going to look at that feature next, the labels. The first thing I want you to do is look at all of these pictures and kind of see what categories, and categories are very broad. Think of 4 categories that you could possibly split them into. And I'm just going to pull them all up here. And maybe you can see them all, probably not. Make my things a little smaller here. Whoops, there they all are. So looking at them all, do you have any ideas? I would normally pause here, but I know you guys won't pause, so let's move on and say what we think. What I came up with based on all of these pictures is that what I see are animals, I see landscapes, I see vehicles, and I see people. And those are the 4 broad categories that I came up with. Within that, in landscapes, I see flowers, lakes, trees, plants. Within animals, I see a dog, a tiger, a snake. I see some birds in one of these beach pictures. Here we go. Vehicles, I see cars, I see a semi, I see motorcycles. And then people, I see people. I would consider this to be a people photo. The fact that they're on motorcycles is secondary nature. So those are the 4 broad categories I came up with. I'm going to show you how labels work in Bridge. So I want you to come up to the label drop-down menu, and I want you to see that there are some that are already set up from Adobe. The labels that they have are Select, Second, Approved, Review, and To Do. And notice that they each have a keyboard shortcut. So Command or Control number 6 will apply the red label called Select. So again, think of yourself as maybe being a senior photographer, and you go through and you select the best shots that you think, and there's probably 100 of them. Then you go through it a second time and you weed out a few more, and some that get the secondary approval turn into yellow labels instead, and maybe there's only 50 of those. Then you show it to a client maybe, and they say, okay, these are the 10 that we approve, and they end up getting labeled green. That's just a way of explaining how these can work. These are generic broad labels that Adobe is preset with, but we can actually change them. And to get to that, we need to go into our preferences. Now it's different on a PC. In a PC, you're going to go under File, and you're going to see Preferences inside here. On a Mac, you actually click on the name of the software, and your preferences are here. Either way, the shortcut is Command or Control K. So go ahead and open your preference panel. And you're probably going to load to the General tab, and notice that you have all of these things that you can control how it works for you. So if I look at General, Miscellaneous, well, let's just go to Labels. I'm not going to get too confused here. Here's where these labels show up that are automatically designated. We're going to change these. So anything that's red, we're going to change to landscape. And then if you just hit the tab key, you'll pop down. If you happen to hit enter, it will actually close out of the preferences. Let's make the next one animals, the next one vehicles, and the last one people. So we are assigning these, and notice to the right is the shortcut. Command 6 will be landscape, 7 for animals, 8 for vehicles, and 9 for people. So we're done with that, and we can say OK. After changing it in our preferences, it will show up here as well. So under the label dropdown, we do see the differences, which is great. All right, now what we need to do is we need to actually apply these. So we're going to go and grab anything that has people in it. So I'm going to start with this first one. I'm going to hold down Command because the next one is not, right next to it. And I'm going to grab this one. And you know what? That's it. For all these pictures, these are the two that are people. And if you happen to remember, people was blue. So you can do it this way, or you can do on your keyboard Command or Control 9. Notice how in your preview here and in the content window, they now have a blue bar underneath them. All right, next one is what I consider to be landscapes, trees, lakes, plants, flowers. So I'm holding down Command and I'm clicking on anything. And since these are all in a row, I could have done this by holding down the Shift key and just clicking this first one, Shift clicking this last one, or actually it's this last one. But I know there's some more down here, so I'm using the Command key. And that looks to me like everything that I would consider to be a landscape. And to get that, I either go up here and choose this, number 6, or I do a Command 6 on my keyboard. And that applied the red to all of them. All right, next up we have the dog, and that is going to fall into the animal category. So let's find all of our animals. We have a dog, we have a snake, we have a tiger, and I did mention that in this picture you can see some birds, but primarily this is a landscape, so we're going to not treat it that way. So dog, snake, tiger. And that is going to be Command 7, or apply this yellow category label. And then our last one is vehicles, and I see a car, and a truck. So I'm going to hold down Shift and click on the last one, and that selected the 3 of those, and the label I applied to this is the green one, or Command 8. Okay, so now I can easily look over here and I can see everything in my content window has been applied to one of these broad categories. So the neat thing about this is, let's just say we had 100 photos and we can't even see all of them without scrolling up and down here. We can now start to use the searching and sorting capabilities built into Bridge. So at the top right over here, we have some options. And I'm just going to hit the drop down here, and we can sort them by label. So let's do a sort by label. All that did was rearrange them. So the greens are together at the top, then blue, then all the reds, then the yellows. I could sort by the date that these photos were created. Now I don't know what that is without looking down here at the metadata. So if I looked at that one picture, I could see in metadata that this was created, well, today at 2:23 isn't quite accurate, but we'll leave that alone for now. So this is sorting them by date created. You could also sort by keywords, which we don't have yet, or ratings. We could sort them by size. So maybe there's one that we know is physically large and we want that. File name would be alphabetical. But the other thing that we can do is come over to this option, and we can say, we're talking about stars here, but we might only want to see labeled items only. When we do that, all of ours are labeled. None of these are blank. But had we not applied, let's say there's a picture of a skyscraper, and that didn't fall into any of our categories that we set up. That one would not have a color tag, and then when we went to sort by this version of labeled items only, it would not show up. So if you run any of these, make sure you clear the filter at the end to get everything back. So I'm going to show you some more advanced searches as we go on, sorts rather, some advanced sorting, but for now, that's how we apply color labels. The other thing that we can do is to prioritize pictures by giving them ratings, a 1 to 5 star rating. Right now I have this James and Gang selected, and because my thumbnail is big enough, you can see that there are dots beneath it. Sometimes when your thumbnails are too small, you don't see those dots, but when you enlarge your thumbnails, you can definitely see them. So to apply a star rating, there's 3 simple ways. You can come up to the label and do it right here. I can click on 1 star through 5 stars, or I can use keyboard shortcuts, Command 1 for 1 star, or, so I'm going to let's just do it this way. Let's say I think this picture is a 4-star or a 5-star picture. So notice all 5 stars are now colored in. This picture, well, let's just go to the other person picture. Let's say that I decide that this is kind of a 2-star picture. I could click on the 2nd star, notice how 2 are lit up, or I could use keyboard shortcuts and say Command number 2, and that lit up my 2 stars. So a time that you might need it is you have 3 pictures of water. So I'm going to click on this one, hold down Command, choose this one and this one. These are my 3 water pictures. And let's say that for whatever purpose, they're all equally good. They tell the story correctly. It's which picture do we want to use. And I can look at this one and I can say, you know what? This one's not very good. So I'm going to give that one singly a 1 star. This one's quite good. I'll go 5 on that one. And this one is medium. I'll go 3 stars on this. Now what I don't want you to do is stress out over every picture as to, is this a 1 star or a 2 star? Is this a 4 or a 5? You need to mark these in a way that's best for you. So what I do after I take a bunch of pictures is, if the picture is bad, blurry, people aren't looking, something's wrong with it, I give it a 1 star rating. If it's something I know I want to go back and look at for sure because I really like it, I give it a 5 star rating. And if it's, I don't know, maybe, I give it a 3 star rating. Then later, I sort by the stars, which I'll show you, and all of the 1 stars that are garbage, I select and delete in one swoop. All of the 5 stars, I sort by them and I actually work through them. And when I'm happy with those, I then maybe look at my 3 stars, like, you know, they were kind of on the fringe. Are they worth bringing in or not? So the star rating can be whatever you want it to be. I also used to do it when I would take pictures of my kids' sporting events. If it was a dud, I would give it 1 star. If it was awesome and I wanted to go back and look at it, I would give it 5 stars. If it was somebody else's child and I knew they would appreciate seeing it, I would give it 3 stars, and then I would go back and look at those and fix those up and share with my friends. That's just an example of how you could possibly use these. To take away the star ratings, you can click to the left of them to remove it, or you can hit Command 0. So in this case, I want you to just randomly go through here and apply star ratings to almost all of these, but not all. And we're going to leave a couple of them not starred for a specific reason, and I'll share that with you when we get to sorting. So just go ahead, go through here and randomly star a bunch of these, but not all. And from there, we'll move on to the next video.